Welcome to episode 7 of this mini-series on team building. And we're really going to be talking a bit about the concept of separating work and home life and that sort of difficult intersection of personal relationships and professional relationships. And how do they work and should we have them? Enjoy. I think ultimately all behaviors that we want in a team must have a reason for being there. And what I mean by that is that, if I want to have a long-term team, so let's define like long-term needs of a team as being more than 2 years, then having a personal relationship with the individuals is going to be really important, because I'm going to need to be attuned enough to understand as a leader what is normal behavior, expected behavior of the individual, and then what is unusual, unexpected behavior from the individual, so that I can react in a way which can help me help them. So that may be an instance where I'm seeing somebody having some type of burnout signs. It may be that I'm seeing somebody acting with a lack of integrity all of a sudden, and that can be an indicator of some type of underlying issue, which I can identify. But also then, there's a relationship that forms, which can help the team stay bound together. So when invariably our amazing work is seen by competitors, they start come knocking on the door, trying to entice those individuals away. The strength of the community, the strength of the relationships means that that is less likely to happen. So in those instances, having a personal connection, yes, really important. But let's say I need my website built, right? And it's going to be a 6-week project. Do I need to be able to go to a barbecue with the individual? Do I need to be able to know that I'm going to spend having a 4-hour dinner with the individual? No. Do I need to have strong personal relationships? Probably not. I need to be able to trust them to a degree, but I think, so it depends on what the objectives of the team are. What is the sort of time horizon with the team? And that will probably indicate to me quite how important it is for that personal element to be present. But if all things were equal, I think there are more advantages to having a strong personal relationship with anybody, given both short-term and long-term. So it would always be my preference to be able to like the people I am working with and feel like I understand them well. But will it always be paramount to the outcome of the project? Not necessarily.
It's interesting, isn't it, as well? Because this kind of a similar topic came up on LinkedIn this week as well. Was, I think the title of the article was "Help My Boss Follows Me on Instagram," where it was like some people want to protect that social media presence in particular, maybe so that they can separate that. What's your feeling about keeping the social media?
Well, social media is a great example. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram for that very, very reason. Not that just that very reason. It's a bit of a toxic mind drain of a pursuit. But apart from my sort of my beliefs there on that work-life balance, can you separate them? Should you separate them? Well, should we keep a personal and work separate from the individuals? I think everybody has a right to privacy. Everybody has a right to say, this is a place where I want to be able to be myself in a way that I don't want others to see. And that's like a right that you have from even your partner, your romantic partner, from your children, from your parents. Everybody has a right to privacy. And maybe that's what we're talking about here. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling like you have no privacy anymore, or no power over saying what is the difference between work and life, well, I'd say I'd maybe just more boil it down to this idea of like having some sort of agency over privacy. Because ultimately, the old cliche as well is there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's just life, right? There's truth to that. And if we get down to some spiritual beliefs, maybe not even just spiritual beliefs, but some of the realities of consciousness and our experience of consciousness, consciousness is always happening. And then we impose upon that this sense of self, this construct of I, the thinking I. And so we then go a step further and then start compartmentalizing our personalities. Like, I am work will. I am private life will. I think there is something to be said of that, but there is always a consistent thread of experience. And so, without maybe diving too deep into that, I would say that I think it comes down to like, what are we worried about in that work life separation?
Mm.
Is it that I'm worried that they will see that I like to bake cakes in my spare time, or that I like to put on some hot pants and a sequin top and go raving on the weekend? And I'm afraid that that may sort of affect the way that people think how professional I am. May it be that I don't want people to see my secret love of kittens in little outfits. I don't know. I mean, all of these things, a whole range of things that we can feel maybe a little bit ashamed about, or we can feel aren't consistent with this projection of ourself. Well, then that gets down to a question of authenticity for me, right? That, should in fact we just be trying to bring our most authentic version of ourselves to the world all the time? And maybe what I would say people have the biggest problem there is where they feel maybe the organization won't make it safe for them to be their most authentic self and bring this best version of them forward. And so now we're getting down to it, right? Now we're like, well, why is it that individual doesn't want to be followed on Instagram? What are they doing on Instagram that they're so worried about the individual seeing? And then it may be because they feel a bit creeped out by that individual. They maybe feel like they're being a bit inappropriate at work. Well, that's a whole separate thing. That's a breakdown of trust. That's a breakdown of integrity, of, qualities of the individual. I don't follow you on Instagram, Sam, but I would hope that even if I did, you wouldn't be horrified by that point.
No.
But you also would have the absolute right to say, I maybe want some privacy there. And that's your prerogative.
You just see a lot of pictures of dogs. So you're probably well shot there. It's all good.